Britain's stand transformed today following an electoral earthquake that has fundamentally altered the political landscape of the United Kingdom. What we witnessed yesterday was not merely an election result, but a complete restructuring of British democracy as we know it. The tremors from this seismic shift are being felt from the corridors of Westminster all the way to Buckingham Palace itself. Nigel Farage now occupies number 10, Downing Street as Prime Minister, leading a Reform UK government with an unprecedented 74-seat majority. This outcome represents the most dramatic political transformation Britain has experienced in modern times. The traditional two-party system that dominated British politics for over a century has been obliterated in a single night. The scale of this victory defies every prediction made by political commentators and polling organisations. Reform UK, previously regarded as a minor player in British politics, has achieved what many considered impossible. They have not just won power but secured a commanding mandate that gives them the authority to implement their radical agenda without significant parliamentary opposition. Labour Party strongholds that stood firm for generations have fallen like dominoes across the country. Constituencies in the North, the Midlands, Wales, and even parts of London have abandoned their traditional allegiances. The famous Red Wall, which Boris Johnson first breached in 2019, has now been completely demolished by Reform UK forces. The human cost of this political revolution is staggering. Angela Rayner, once considered a future Labour leader, reportedly left her constituency count in stunned silence after losing her seat. Ed Miliband, the former Labour leader who held his parliamentary position for over 2 decades, found himself ejected from Westminster entirely. These are not minor casualties but major political figures whose careers have been ended in a single evening. The Conservative Party has suffered an even more catastrophic defeat than Labour. Rishi Sunak's Tories are projected to hold fewer than 25 parliamentary seats, representing the worst Conservative performance in the party's entire history. Suella Braverman, the former Home Secretary who positioned herself as the voice of the Conservative right, lost her supposedly safe seat to a Reform UK candidate. Kemi Badenoch now faces the unenviable task of leading what remains of the Conservative Party from opposition. However, with such a diminished parliamentary presence, the Conservatives can barely be considered an effective opposition force. They have been reduced to political irrelevance almost overnight. The immediate aftermath of this electoral tsunami has created genuine concern within the highest levels of government. Sources close to Buckingham Palace report that King Charles has been receiving continuous briefings since the first exit polls emerged. Constitutional experts are actively reviewing emergency procedures, recognizing that Britain now faces unprecedented political circumstances. The monarchy's concerns extend beyond ceremonial protocol. There are legitimate fears that such a dramatic shift in parliamentary composition could lead to legislative instability. Senior constitutional advisors are preparing contingency plans should Parliament become unable to function effectively under these new circumstances. If you're finding this analysis helpful in understanding these historic developments, make sure to subscribe for continued coverage of this unfolding political drama. Reform UK's victory represents more than just electoral success. It signifies a complete rejection of the political establishment that has governed Britain for decades. Voters have decisively turned away from both traditional parties, choosing instead to embrace a movement that promises fundamental change. Nigel Farage wasted no time in outlining his government's radical agenda. In his first address as Prime Minister-elect, he committed to dismantling what he described as the failed institutions of modern Britain. His promises include a complete overhaul of the civil service, withdrawal from international agreements that tie Britain to European Union influence, and a comprehensive review of all existing government policies. The new Reform UK Parliamentary Party itself represents a dramatic departure from traditional Westminster politics. Unlike the career politicians who typically populate the House of Commons, these newly elected MPs come from diverse backgrounds. They include teachers who left the classroom to enter politics, plumbers who decided to fix the system rather than just pipes, single mothers determined to improve their children's futures, military veterans bringing service experience to public office, and small business owners who understand economic realities firsthand. This demographic shift in parliamentary representation could prove as significant as the electoral victory itself. These MPs bring real-world experience and perspectives that have been largely absent from Westminster for generations. Their presence suggests that governance itself may change fundamentally, not just the policies being implemented. The media response to Reform UK's victory has been predictably hostile. Establishment outlets have characterized the result as a dangerous rise of populism, warning of threats to democratic institutions. However, such interpretations ignore the democratic legitimacy of this outcome. The British people have spoken clearly and decisively, choosing change over continuity. This electoral revolution did not emerge overnight. It represents the culmination of years of growing dissatisfaction with traditional political offerings. Brexit began this process of political realignment, but the failure of both Conservative and Labour governments to deliver meaningful change accelerated voter frustration. The COVID-19 pandemic and its aftermath further exposed the incompetence of establishment politicians. Lockdown policies that destroyed businesses while protecting bureaucrats, economic mismanagement that fueled inflation, and immigration policies that ignored public concerns all contributed to this electoral reckoning. Reform UK's success stems from their willingness to address issues that other parties either ignored or dismissed. They spoke directly to voters' concerns about national sovereignty, economic security, and cultural identity. While establishment politicians offered empty promises and technocratic solutions, Reform UK provided clear answers and concrete commitments. The international implications of this British political earthquake cannot be understated. European Union leaders are reportedly monitoring developments closely, recognizing that a Reform UK government could fundamentally alter Britain's relationship with Europe. NATO allies are reassessing their assumptions about British foreign policy under Farage's leadership. For anyone still trying to process these remarkable developments, subscribing to this channel will ensure you stay informed as this historic transformation unfolds. This represents the most significant political realignment in British history since the rise of the Labour Party over a century ago. The implications will reverberate not just through British politics but across the democratic world. We are witnessing history unfold in real time, and the full consequences of yesterday's vote will shape Britain's future for generations to come. This represents today's crucial political development that every engaged citizen needs to understand. Before we conclude, remember to subscribe for continued coverage of these rapidly evolving political developments that are reshaping Britain's future. Our commitment remains delivering accurate, verified information about the political events transforming our nation. Share your thoughts about these developments in the comments below and help others stay informed by sharing this analysis with anyone interested in understanding Britain's changing political landscape.